The mechanic should probably put on a catcher's mask. So, needless to say, I have my work cut out for me on that pair next time I'm there.
Well, we wish you all the luck. You're bowling great today. I know you're going to figure it out. That's Matt McNeil.
Hey, Doug,
Yo.
does he know that's the title pair?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't think like that. He doesn't think like that. He's taking it one game at a time, and his game plan is still being executed to pretty good measure. So I'm gonna go down and check this Shannon match out, see if I can't get a video.
Thank you, Doug. Working out there in the field for us. That's Doug Lakey bringing you everything you want to know out there, folks.
Doug, Adam Barta says, "Step away, Jackie. Doug is here."
Well, Jackie's a friend of our family, and Adam Barta is a friend of our family, and basically anybody that wants to do online reporting, we are appreciative of them, as well as they have the opportunity to do that for us whenever they like. That was something we really wanted to work on for this particular tournament, bringing you more and more action. We thought it would be really good to do some interactive play-by-play interviews and that throughout the day, and taking turns with that, Doug and I at this point, and we enjoy that stuff. So, Lee, do you want to take us through who we're going to have on our pairs over here, 13 and 14, 15, and 16? This next game, game number 6. They'll have 2 more games after this. Then they'll take about a 30-minute break to grab some lunch, and then they'll be back for 8 more games.
It was a very slow falling 9 pin for Brad Miller over there. That match is Brad's down by 1. When we get to game 6, we'll have Bolin, Kloss, and then on 15-16 we'll have Brocklin and McNeil. So Matt doesn't have to go very far.
So we're going to have Matt McNeil, another match here.
Yep,
by us.
against FJ.
Miller is beginning to get vocal at the pins, asking to come on. We'll see in about 3 games when they get back from lunch break, some of the players starting to really make a move to get in. And action is already underway, game 6. It's John Brocklin, FJ we call him, on lane number 15.
Trips of 4.
So action underway, game number 6. Game number 5 still wrapping up over here. We have a match between Brad Miller, who sits 4th through 4 games, versus Quentin Bolin. Miller has 190 left with just the 10th frame to go. And Bolin now 121 in the 7th with a strike working in the 8th. He's got 211 left. So this is going to be an interesting thing here with Brad Miller trying to stay in the top 4 and not fall any positions. These bonus pins are very, very important, as Bolin has put his Bolin shirt back on. No more Kermit the Frog for him. I wonder if someone texted him or said, hey, you got to put your Bolin shirt back on. That happens sometimes. And action underway now. Derek Oaf over on lane 7. Bolin, Shannon, Buchanan. Now that's going to be a great match. Yeah. So you're watching game number 6 on the left pair and game number 5 wrapping up on the right pair between Bolin and Miller.
McNeil starts on 15-16 with 2 light mixer carries. Difference between the 2 pairs fairly evident, playing in the same part of the lane with the same ball.
Our sideline reporter, I would like to know what bowling balls our leaders are using. If you could effort to get that for us here in a little while, I would appreciate that. Buchanan, Miller, and McNeil, Oaf, those guys, I'd like to know what they're using out there. All important information. Now here's Bolin. He can lock out Miller if he strikes out. He does get the first hit. He's got 191 left. Miller 190 left. So Miller's going to have to match whatever Bolin does here. And Buchanan open with a strike up again here. Looking for the double to start the match, and he gets it. He's got a great look, Lee.
He does. The Miller High Life shirt. Playing pretty far in. Tucked it.
So he's going to have to, it's very important for him to get both of these
Right.
pins to force Brad Miller to have to double. Otherwise, we have that all-important possibility
Of a tie.
of a tie. Derek Goff, he finishes second in every regional thus far in his young career. Elected to come bowl with us this weekend. Thank you, Derek. We appreciate that. Derek is a Storm staffer and just moved to Wisconsin with his wife. She got a job at the University of Wisconsin. Derek used to work for the USBC in Arlington. Derek,
And-
upon trying to find a new job, decided, you know what, I'm just going to try this bowling gig for a little while and see where it leads me. And so far, it's working out really well. Jeff Riggles made a comment at dinner yesterday. Derek's probably made $20,000 in the last 4 or 5 months. Here's a little side-by-side action for a moment. We don't do it very often. We're lacking a sponsor for this weekend, but since we do have some action
There's
finishing
Brad
up
Miller.
and some action beginning here with Miller, or with Brocklin and Matt McNeil, we'll bring you a little side-by-side action here.
Neil shreds a rack.
Question here in the chat. Adam Barta wants to know, has anyone tried to attack the pattern from the outside part of the lane? And there is so much extreme OB with the Brunswick spray jet machine that they have here that there have been guys that have tried it, but very little success from the outside part of the lane. McNeil's ball reaction now, pair to pair, is still very, very good as he opened with the first 3 against FJ. And now comes in just a little light for a 10 pin. So getting it going again over here, Mr. McNeil. And it was 181 to 180. It was Bolin over Miller on 9 and 10. Just to show how tough these lanes are, Shannon Buchan sits second and opens up with a double and then misses the head pin to the right, which just goes to show how much OB there is, Adam Barta, in the chat. Now Brockland opened with a double and then a 5-10.
Can't check the 7 out there.
Good shot, though. John's throwing the ball pretty well. Has a good look to the pocket here on this pair. I would put the odds, John plus 140, McNeil minus 120. Sorry, 160 on 15 and 16 would be my guess on the odds on that match. But every other match today, McNeil would have been minus 250.
I know Brad Miller's throwing a Nexus.
Is he throwing that purple and bluish one with some surface?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nexus Solid, I believe it is.
Nexus Solid.
Yeah, Doug, get down there, man. Just get up on the racks and just start looking at their bowling balls.
Yeah, I am. I hope I don't mess with McNeil, but I'm getting ready to lay on my stomach, and I'm going to video record his ball reaction from the lane, like a lane profile view.
That's a good
And
idea.
it's like, he's a buddy of ours, but we don't want to interrupt, I mean, he is trying to win a tournament here, so I was kind of rousing him after his 180 game with that interview, but we got to be professional here too, so.
The Mike, we got the Power 4120 in the chat. He says that Shannon's last name is Buchan.
Buchan.
Thank you very much.
Buchan.
Appreciate that.
Like Mortal Kombat. Hi,
Buchan.
Buchan.
Got it. All right, Buchan. Shannon Buchan. We got it. Thank you very much. Our people in the chat are so nice, helping us out.
He ended up losing that match against Thomas, like 210 to 202 last game.
Okay.
They both had some strikes going, and then they both spared out. So
It's not going to help. He'll gain a couple pins on Matt McNeil, but he's still essentially a game plus behind.
How great is this right now? You've got Derek Oaf, Shannon Buchan, a Team USBC Eagle winner fresh off of Baton Rouge, and Andy Mills. Greg Pizzle, who we haven't talked about much today, right here. I mean, this is a star-studded group, and then when we switch our cameras over to the other pair, you've got Kloss, Bolin, Brockland, and McNeil. So it's just a pleasure to sit back and enjoy and watch the action right now.
I just talked to Kloss about his ball reaction, and he's slow hooking the whole lane on lanes on this half of the house, like 16 down. And he said 19 up, he's playing up 4 and just throwing it off the right corner. So he's got some pretty extreme variances in his look from pair to pair.
I'd be interested to know what his scores are like based off of the two different attacks to the pin centers.
He just shot 230.
Down on the high end, going straight. Wow, he
It's a good shot.
He is opening up the lanes, and through 4 games, don't forget you can go down below your window here on InsideBowling.com's IPTV live page, and you can keep track of the standings. Kloss has a bit of a climb, as right now plus 162 through 4 games is where he needs to be, and he's minus 82. So he's got 220 pins to make up with a lot of games to go.
Well, he just shot 230. Plus, I would assume he won his match, right, Doug? With
Not to
230?
pick on J.R. Raymond, but in our last Inside Bowling event, he had like a 300-pin lead at one point. Didn't he?
Yeah, he did. And Lee, you were asking Doug.
Did Chad win his match with 230, I would assume?
Yeah, I think so.
So he's
Yeah.
only 160 he needs to make up, roughly.
Quentin's living the high life.
Got game 5 scores up there. Standings just loaded below the video feed. McNeil's leads 207. Shannon Buchan just 20 behind Wojner. In top 3 step ladder. Got McNeil, Mike, over here working on a 279.
279 max score for McNeil. He's through 7. You're looking at him on lane number 8 at the 11thframe.com open match play here. Tournament brought to you by Coors Light and Jeff Riggles, 11thframe.com. Check out his website. I know most of you have heard of it, but man, he writes a great blog and tells everybody what's going on. And that is McNeil now. That's 4 in a row for Mr. McNeil. Kloss opened with the double, and now attempting his 10-pin. Looks like he's got it, so he's got a good look to the pocket as well. And we'll take you over to 7 through 10. you're getting a look at Greg. Is it Pitzel?
I was saying Piesel, but the chat people will.
Doug, if you
sure,
could get us
Piesel,
a
it says.
pronunciation for P-I-Z-L, that would be great. Buchan.
Kin.
All right, you Buchan. 167 in the 7th with a strike up. So he's got 257 left. So Derek Oaf now, completely different story. He's train wrecking right now. 88 in the 7th for Mr. Oaf. You know they're tough when a gentleman like that's been bowling really extremely well, and he has 88 in the 7th. I have a lot of respect for Mr. Oaf's game. He's tremendous talent, but today's pattern is playing fits on him. I kind of thought Oaf might actually come back and re-enter the tournament. Just because his look wasn't all that solid, and 6 more games of bowling may have done him some good. But maybe, bowling that many games with 16 today, the smarter play was for him to be fresh today.
Which makes what Chad's little runs more impressive, because he bowled every squad yesterday, right? Chad Kloss?
Chad Kloss bowled every squad
So
yesterday.
this is game 24 of the weekend, and he's still got 10 more to go.
Joining us now here in the booth is the tournament spokesperson, so to speak, help promote the event. It's named after his website, which he switched over to in the last year. And Jeff Riggles is now in the booth to offer some commentary for us. Jeff did a great job at the with Extra Frame. I listened to him a week or so ago at Spare Time Lanes in Decatur when he was there making his second tour stop as a senior raisin on the senior tour, and had a lot of success thus far. And we want to welcome in Jeff to the booth. How we doing, Jeff?
Great to be back. Real good. I was here got in the second game today and watched a little bit. Talked to several of the guys and pretty much said the lanes are roughly the same as yesterday, perhaps tighter in the back end and making them a little bit tougher. But I see it's having zero impact on Matt McNeil as I walk in and he's finishing off at 279. How much is he? He's leading by 200 now, huh?
Yeah,
but it was 300.
Well, it's going to be 300 again.
Again, all right. He had a rough go on 13 and 14. We had Brad Snell right in front of him, playing up 15. And that kind of pushed him hang for him. I haven't seen McNeil 7-9 before, but threw a good shot and 7-9 on 13, which is going to be our pair for the finals.
Oh, how interesting.
I know.
Well, maybe there's some hope for some of the other guys.
Yeah, and Snell actually 5-7-10'd on lane 13.
I saw that shot earlier today. That's very interesting. I bet you he wishes 15 and 16 was the championship pair.
It's
so
279 for McNeil. 279. That is quite a statement. That ties the high game of the tournament.
That's a 2-game total for a lot of people this weekend. And a lot of good people this weekend. I saw some pretty amazing tough scores.
Standings are updated through game number 5 on the bottom of your screen. Thank you to Kim, our tournament staff office coordinator, manager, out there working hard for us.
She needs a shorter title than that.
What I would like to know is what happens if you have a technical problem since Mr. Burkhart's out there kegling?
We just
hit it.
The secret actually is I'm smarter than Burkhart with this stuff now.
Okay.
Everybody got a chuckle out of that. Is it that obvious that I don't have any technical skills whatsoever?
We had our laptop this morning, and I used it for a long, 2 hours. I got up at 6 and used it for a couple hours, wrote a couple things, including about yesterday's qualifying, and then I gave it over to Sue, and so I could get ready to come over here. And she says, starts, yelling, "What's wrong with this thing?" And somehow it said that our wireless network had been disconnected. It wouldn't even bring up any networks that you could connect to, and it said needed to push the button or something like that. And we couldn't figure it out. And I said, well, at least we go over there. We can ask Burkhardt. He'll know.
Right.
But then I finally was looking at the keyboard, and the F2 button had a little antenna on. I said, let's try this, and we hit it and restarted, and then it worked. So, problem solved.
So players are a little out of whack now as far as timing here. Brockland actually still has
226.
And he's going to lose to McNeil's 279. But, it's nice to see John having a good look to the pocket as he 8-10s.
On cue. We jinxed you there pretty good, buddy.
And then Boland's bidding for 4-pin. He's got his Miller High Life shirt back on. He's got his Boland shirt. He's bowling a tournament, and his last name is Boland. And he's looking for 4 in a row.
Cat.
And Oaf, who we were talking about, had 88 in the 7th, did follow up in the 8th with a spare, and then he's doubled and got 9. He made a ball change. I saw him move down to the other end of the center to pick out a different ball, but it's 157 for Mr. Oaf, and he loses to Buchan's 224. So Buchan continues to roll towards the top of the leaderboard. And another game that's still underway from game number 6 is Andy Mills over here, who leaves baby split.
Had to pick a 5-pin last game to win.
To beat McNeil, who was undefeated going into that game.
Did he make it?
Yep.
Okay. I would have to say that today, in my opinion, is more about your brain and your focus than just about anything else. I mean, obviously, the better bowler is the better bowler, and the guy who's got the better reaction is an advantage and can figure things out. But 16 games on this, boy, you need to be major league focused.
Got the Power 4120 in the chat. Wants your picture, your chips from last night on Facebook.
It's on my Facebook page.
Look at Kloss here now. Kloss has found a way to open up the lane and find a spot to the pocket.
Wojnar was doing that when I came here earlier.
It's true, he was.
In fact, I was surprised because everyone had said how tight they were in the back end and couldn't get anything to hook. And I saw a couple guys, and man, it was nothing but 1-2-4s and 2-8-10s. And then I looked at Wojnar, and he was like playing 20 to 25 at the arrows going out, and his ball was turning the corner. It was like, woo! I couldn't believe it.
We've got the match over on 7 and 8 is wrapped up, so you're watching 9 and 10 finish up here. They're in the 8th frame. Is it Pitzel? Do you know his name?
Chat says Piesel.
Pizzle. Oh, Piesel?
Piesel? Still don't
This
know.
just in, Deep Knee Bend himself is on about a 230 pace against Wojnar's 160.
That's Brad Snell Doug's talking about.
And
I'll put Shannon Buchan in second place.
Miller's just hammer time down there. Bad break after bad break, and he's going to lose this match 213 to 210 against York on like a run crossover trip 6 Brooklyn by his opponent. So he's frustrated. Just left the 10-pin on a 3-6 9-10 spare. He left the 10-pin on of it. So he's like,
how do you do that?
Yeah, his frustrations are mounting. He says all day I've just been getting bad breaks. So we hope his luck changes. He's still throwing the Nexus solid.
Doug, but here's the interesting part of this. Through 5 games even, Brad Miller plus 107, and to make the top 3 plus 188. So as Jeff was just commenting about, you really are going to have to be mentally focused today. You got to fill every frame and get things cruising along. And Brad, there's a lot of guys below him that would like to be where Brad is at 100 over.
Right.
Because looking down at 12th place, minus 32, 132 pins is 3 or 4 games of good bowling. And Brad Miller is ahead of that. So hopefully he keeps his head on his shoulders and doesn't get too fried out.
Well, I can tell you that Brad, I don't know if a lot of the people know out there that are watching this, they might not be old enough to remember that Brad is a multiple Bowler of the Year in the Midwest region. He almost won the ABC Masters back when it was ABC, American Bowling Congress. Bowled on tour for years, made one or two other TV shows, I believe. Was definitely one of the best bowlers in the PBA Midwest region for years. Kind of went away for a while as kids and stepped away from competitive bowling, and since he turned 50, he's bowling a little bit more again. It was really cool to see him here. But my point would be that back in those days, there were plenty of games or tournaments, regionals, where it was 16 games on Sunday in this range of difficulty. So getting through this grind, maybe at 53, it's a little tougher for him, or 52 physically, but mentally, I don't think it's anything he hasn't dealt with before.
Yeah, we've got a couple of Brads actually bowling in this event. We've got Miller and Brad Snell, and we could have a Brad final.
You guys
It's not
getting a
out of the
look
question.
at little Chad Recker's ball reaction here? Have you guys still been talking about that?
Yeah, I was just talking. I just said, look at this ball reaction here by Chad, and he's 7'10", and Wriggles said cat. So, I was trying to leave him alone for a second, but he did get a strike on 14. And Doug was up in the booth earlier, and he was commenting about how Klaus, left of lane 16, has been playing the middles, and then right of lane 16 on the other end of the building, he's been playing more like up 4. And having success with both angles.
Interesting.
Well, we're going to look at him here, and hopefully we won't jinx him here with a 7-10 or a bad break. But this is the lane that's got a funky rack, I think. There we go. That's a double for him. If he can get one more and 9 on his fill, he'll have a 200 even game. He's got a 201 max score, but his opponent here has 211 left, 161 in the 8th, spare up in the 9th. So Klaus here throwing these strikes, putting pressure on his opponent, sitting on the bench.
The cat hoarder, that would be Nick Heilman, is probably back racing his BMXs or whatever those are in lacrosse. I know he didn't make it today. His buddy, a couple of his teammates from this year's USBC Championship team are here. Pizzle and, oh my God, solid 9. Pizzle and Andy Mills.
Hey, Doug, we got a question here in the chat. If you want to maybe get Chad over here, if he'll do an interview with us. I know his game is kind of towards the tail end and all the other games have started, but if you could grab him. They want to know information about where's the little Chad Recker, who's he got a contract with now, or is he a free agent? So
Okay.
I think it's funny how they call him the little Chad Recker here. In the,
That was me.
in the
Because
chat.
Chad Moss was Big Chad Recker and Chad Klaus is Little Chad Recker. Comes from Shimrecker.
He's gonna fill out his scorecard, and we're gonna get him.
I'm pretty sure these days he's throwing one of the brands from
He's got a Columbia patch on his
Kentucky.
shirt.
Yeah, one of the brands from Kentucky.
Chad, do you care to talk to me for a minute while you fill out your scorecard? We got some fans in the chat wanting to know how the little Chad Recker's doing.
Everyone's doing good prior to that frame.
And also, are you on staff with anybody right now?
I currently throw all 4 Ebonite products. So Track, Columbia, Hammer, and Ebonite.
Okay. There you have it, the Chad Recker. He's playing 30-5, and he just stone 9.
He hasn't moved in yet, though. We're no lofting.
When are you going to start lofting it?
Probably after the break.
After the break. Breaking news. The Recker's going to loft it after the break. We'll bring you live coverage of that when he starts doing it. Dougie Fresh, over and out.
Thank you, Doug. Excellent work down there, Doug. I really like how you're fitting into this role. It's really nice. Doug really made a great impression on me when he got into the job. He was 4 minutes into the job and immediately had a super fan, young man here from Missouri with a inside bowling shirt on, and he brought him over and made his day. Doug out there, he pleases everybody, the ladies, the kids, the adults, the aunts and uncles, the grandmothers. Everybody loves Doug, and that's why he's on our team.
So based on the pinfall with bonus pins, I would estimate the only guys plus today averaging 200 are McNeil and Wojnar.
We can pull that up for you.
Maybe Buchan.
Buchan's averaging 202.
Okay.
Without bonus, he's plus 10. McNeil would be plus 129
Man.
for 5. Greg Thomas would be minus 12.
One of my picks.
And Wojner would be plus 18.
So, guys, here you're watching game number 7 here on IBTV here at the 11thframe.com Open, brought to you by Coors Light, the Diamond Joe Casino. And joining me here in the booth is Jeff Riggles and Lee Bedoris, who's been with you all weekend, and myself, Mike Flanagan. And here on lane 7 and 8, we have Brian Burkhardt, who's one of our team members, our tech guru, and he is bowling against Brad Snell. So you get a look at Brad Snell down there. They're in game number 7, and then just off to the right of them over on lanes 9 and 10, we have Thomas York versus Chad Kloss, who we just got a chance to see, the little Chad wrecker. We're going to look at Snell here.
And I see someone chimed in there that it is Peasel. So I appreciate that because I honestly didn't know.
Yeah, thank you. And we have the smartest following chat members ever. And we really appreciate that. So we learned today that it's Buchan and Peasel.
And York could also goes by TJ. Sheet says Thomas, but TJ will work.
You guys may have just missed something. I actually laid on the ground and I got a floor shot of Kloss's ball reaction, and I just uploaded it to the site. So if you want to refresh down there, let me know if that video is posted. It's a side angle view, but it's an excellent executed shot by Mr. Kloss.
Would it be called McNeil Strikes Again?
You'll also see deep knee bend and Brad Snell at the line.
Hey, and his knee bend isn't anywhere near what it was 25 years ago. It's pretty good for 52 or 53 years old, though.
And Lee, you want to take us through who we have on our other pair here? 13 and 14, 15 and 16.
Be FJ and Peasel. And then 15 and 16 should be Greg Thomas and Quentin Bolin.
First look at Greg Thomas, I believe, down in this wing. Is that correct, Lee?
No, he was here game 1.
Okay.
He bowled against Wojner.
So it's been a while, but right now Greg Thomas sits 4th at plus 123 through 5 games. So we'll have game 6 up shortly. The players are a little out of rotation now. Some are ahead of the others. So some of what we'll be covering may be up to almost about a game behind now. But good news for everybody. We're going to stop and start them up again because they're going to take a little lunch break at game number 8.
I see there's a good question there for me, and I was a little less upright, a little more knee bend, but 50 years old and body doesn't do what it used to, and I'm definitely straighter up than I used to be. Plus, I'm trying to throw hard, and that's just one of the things. Like, I'm kind of a Bob Learn method. Yes, raisin, correct. Just wait till you're 50. This looks like a pretty friendly pair on the right side, 13 and 14. Watching Peasel's reaction after watching Kloss's, and you said Matt McNeil did not have a good reaction.
It was very, very poor. Now on the right side during practice, it was Greg Thomas and Wojner. So you got to think they broke it down pretty well.
Yep.
Whereas I think Brad Snell was the first left-hander to hit it, and he hit it right before Matt, playing up 15.
Learn is still pretty low still. I watched him bowl last week. His knee, his right sliding leg was as straight as a board. Trust me.
And Doug and everybody else out there, we do have that Chad Kloss floor view video.
Oh, good stuff.
Take a look at this real quick.
Oops. Oh, there it goes.
Wow.
Got the open shoulders, so he's pointing at his target pretty much. leg pointing that way too.
Good stuff, Doug.
Yeah, that's true. Learn is just low to the ground to start with. Yes, he's short guy, but he is still powerful, still throws the ball hard, and still gets a lot on it.
With those Game 6 standings, McNeil's lead is
Wow, look at
about
that.
280.
Well, he's got $2,000 in his pocket. The question is, does he get the other $2,000? Nobody's catching that unless, I don't know, an injury maybe or something. I can't imagine anybody making up that ground. Even as good as Shannon's bowling, boy. Yeah, that's 13 and 14. Looks like a decent pair. I'm not going to say never use the word soft or easy on this condition, but it looks like there's some ball reaction on the right side on that pair.
Could ask FJ when he's done with this game what he thinks. He just shot a nice 220 that was well beaten.
What do we got? It's just a three-person step ladder, correct? So
Correct.
You got to get to third. It's not four.
So this race for third, pretty close. Wozniak 150, Thomas $119, both Brads at 104, FJ 81. Probably all to go. You could go down to 9th, 10th. People who are still very much in it.
You could make a run because
we know Oaf can do it at 8 under.
Yeah, and there's so many games left. Hey, I ran out a couple 5.7s yesterday, so I'm not saying anything about anybody's running out shots. Boy, watching ball reaction is very different on this end. I was up on the high end earlier watching, and there seems like there's a lot more hook down on this end than up there in the back end. Interesting. And did you not say that Kloss is playing out on the high end?
That's what Doug told us.
Huh. Interesting.
Need binoculars to see all the way down there, but that's why we've got Doug. He's probably crouched to the ground Spider-Man style with his iPad taking videos again.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing how this all goes out here in that second 8 games. I just can't imagine. I mean, normally you'll bowl in a tournament like this and you got 16 games and you can kind of think about how your ball reaction is going to change and how you're going to move, and I just don't know what these guys do. I just can't. I mean, you're already at 25 or something and you can't go really, you don't get more skid when you go left, you don't get more return when you throw it right, and you can't move right outside 10 really unless you're just, throwing it on a string. It's just kind of jail pretty much, and I got a feeling that the righties are going to start messing with Snell and McNeil too as enough games get bowled. And this could not that it's not already ugly, but this could really, really, really turn Peterson-like.
Saw a number of shots yesterday. I thought compared to Peterson with some fallback shots with Quentin Bowen was doing that for a while. Here's the little Chad Wrecker on 9. Let's see how far in he's moved.
He looks like he's playing, from my angle here, pretty much the way he played 13 and 14.
There's a little off now.
A little bit of loft. Not a lot, though. That's not excessive or anything. Ooh, nice shot for a 10-pin. I mean, you can kind of get that. Just keep moving in, but at some point, I mean, you can't. When you're lofting like that and so far left, cutting it right, eventually he's going to be throwing it into the OB, and it's just not going to do anything. And then what are you going to do? I mean, you go to a shiny ball, and it's not going to read the back end at all, probably, if the carry down is excessive as it was yesterday. Whew. I'm glad I'm up here. 18th place was the perfect position to finish. And for the folks that are out there watching this who maybe bowled yesterday, who are talking about bowling, thinking about bowling next year, I got a feeling that they're not going to be like quite this hard next year. might be tough. I mean, we're not going to put any house shots out, but I think we'll go for more of a multiple angles and a little bit softer shot than this.
Yeah, and not necessarily. I don't really want to use the word probably softer, but just a pattern where scores will seem higher because everybody, if they'll be able to play their A game or at least B plus game.
There we go. That's good, better wording than mine for sure.
But but it'll appear that the pattern is playing easier. Scores will be higher. But, if you take a guy who likes to play up 10 and just really gets handcuffed playing deep, he's got no chance, so then your scoring pace looks brutal. But if you got a guy who his A game is playing up 10 and if he executes perfectly, he can shoot 240s or 250s, as Derek Oaf is getting extremely frustrated. If you heard that cannon fire, that was a ball lofted to about the arrows. Not unprofessional or anything.
It was past the arrows.
It was, and it wasn't high up in the air. It was like parallel with the lane. But Derek's getting frustrated. This pattern's eating him alive right now. But yeah, we will tweak, adjust, listen to feedback, and probably get involved with some testing as well on how we can bring you a tournament next year with good shot making rising to the top, but multiple angles and multiple players being welcome, including seniors. There's Brad Snell.
That's harder to do than most people think, but it can be done, and I think we'll be able to pull it off. But it was interesting. I had a couple people say that to me last night, that they said I just can't play in there with you're going to make me go right to third and fourth arrow. That's just not how I can bowl. And I said, well, normally we want to have multiple angles play, and I think if we have that, then the scoring level is less of an issue. Well, the BT in there, I'm not sure who that is. I think the issue you get when they get too hard is it gets Peterson-like, and it gets to be almost like bowling too easy, on a house shot, where there it's just carry, and here you get to the point, you see Chad leave a solid 9 there. You get to the point where, and it's not that way yet, don't get me wrong, but you get to the point where it's just head pin hunting and who's carrying Brooklyns and breaking up splits, and I don't think this tournament got that way yesterday, and hopefully it won't get that way today. But it's pretty close to it. U.S. Open is almost that way sometimes.
McNeil's got just like a 3-pin for 235. He's going to win his match. He's bowling Lemish.
This game, next game, then they're going to take a little break. Let's take a look at the standings here. They're updated for you down below on your screen. After 6 games, first place Matt McNeil sets the pace at 524. Wow. Second, Buchan at 242. Third, Wojner plus 150. So those are your top 3 for your stepladder if things were to end now. On the outside looking in, 31 pins behind, which is just 1 victory in this, is Greg Thomas, who you picked, Jeff. Brad Miller sits at 104, tied with Brad Snell. So the Brads are 5th and 6th that we were just talking about not too long ago. Brocklin, look at him, sitting in 7th at 81 over. Don't count out old Johnny Boy. He's 70 pins out.
The great thing about scores this low is that you can figure something out and find a little trick and have a couple 220s or 30s and win your matches. You can make a move up the standings like nothing.
Yeah, if you're bowling on an absolute score fest and par is 240 and you shoot 300, it's a 60 pin difference from par. Here, par is about 190, 180.
Maybe 180 today. It's all right.
So if you shoot a 260,
you can make up
80 or 90.
And plus, when scores are like super high scoring pace, the guys that are up there, you're not. They might shoot 210 or something or 2-0, but you're not going to see them shoot 150 most likely. And whereas on this condition, a person, you shoot 220 and you win your match, that guy ahead of you might shoot 150. If they have a tough pair, leave a couple splits, miss a spare, can't double. So some of these guys are down there pretty far, but I would say that other than maybe Dan and Brian, maybe TJ, just about anybody with 8 games left can still make this top 3 with a heck of heck of a run in the last 8 games.
I also just want to make mention to Doug, who I know is out there listening. We do have a break coming up, and I just talked to Brett Cunningham about getting the players, figuring out how they're going to get fed. But it's also going to allow for us to have a 30-minute opportunity for our crew to also eat. But because I'm up in the booth, and so is Lee, we're going to need to figure out how we're going to handle the food situation. Because yesterday that was a hot topic amongst our team, the food eating situation, and it looks like we'll all be able to eat together in unison today, which will be a positive thing. So
I ate already, so
well, then you can just sit up here and fill
Sure.
time and eat voodoo pizzas again.
No, there will be no more voodoo pizza.
True story here, and I know we're getting a little off subject here, away from the action, while you continue to watch game number 7 of our match play. But yesterday, when we were having our dinner late last night, it was a large table of us. Jeff was able to get the table, and Todd stopped by, and he may be watching right now. Todd is the property general manager of the entire property here at the Diamond Joe. And I saw him walk by, and I stopped him. He said hello, and he actually was watching the chat yesterday and enjoying the show. And he said, "Are you the guy that ate the pizza?" And I said, "No, that's Jeff down there." And he's like, "That was really cool." So hopefully, when it comes to deciding on coming back next year, which he already said we do want to have you back, but hopefully next year, they have a lot of events here. They've had Kenny Loggins, Slash, all these different big artists and stuff. Hopefully, when they think Cherry Lane's Bowling Center events, I think we're gonna have a little notch there where he's gonna say, "Oh, that's a great weekend when those guys come in." And maybe it'll bring in more revenue to his facility, and they can help promote and just do great things for bowling. I was interviewed by a beat writer here, one of the paper guys here in Dubuque, and interviewed 2 different days and told the story of what happened. And there's going to be a newspaper article about the event. So tremendous support here locally in Dubuque.
Well, that was one of my thoughts in doing that, because I saw that maybe a year ago, and I told Susie, I said, I'm going to do this. I want to eat this. And then I kept talking. I said, well, maybe for this tournament we're talking about, I'll do it on the webcast if this all comes about. And I said, okay, we'll just leave it for that. And so we did it yesterday, and I was kind of a way of giving a shout out to Mojo's, because I like their food. I think it's really good. It's a pretty cool place with the NFL Sunday ticket, and they've got the MLB.com ticket or whatever that is, and it's just a nice little sports bar, and it's good people, and we had a lot of guys in there eating yesterday and downstairs as well, and lots of guys firing at the tables last night. There we get a shot down towards Mojo's.
We had the John Madden Illustrator. We could.
You know what?
Point it out.
It is so funny you say that.
Oh boy.
Burkhart called me Tuesday of last week and goes, "You got a second to get online?" I said, "Yeah, not a problem." He goes, "Go to our live page." And I did, and he's writing on the screen with the Telestrator.
Wow.
Now, we have not addressed that situation since being here, but he told me that it is available for future use. So very interesting you bring that up.
And then we could have drawn what happened to Mac McNeil's look on 13 and 14 with draw Snell's balls in there. And come on, Burkhart.
Speaking of Burkhart, he needed a double there to win his match over Snell, and just made a great shot and leaves a kind of a rag 10 there.
I want to shake the hand of anybody that doubles to win a match in the 10th frame on this. Unless it's Brooklyn's or something.
What's up, Doug?
Bob, our host here, is taking lunch orders for the players as they finish up this game. So hats off to Bob. He's working hard out there for everybody.
Doug, did you hear what I was talking about for us?
That we would have some time off to eat?
Yeah, and what our plan was going to be?
No, I didn't hear that.
You're in charge of the plan, considering yesterday we had a bit of a lunch issue.
Okay.
So we're gonna have about a half an hour window here.
I'd say we all have some alone time, and everybody fend for
Okay,
themselves.
well, I'm gonna let you coordinate that. I'm gonna let you be
I
in
can
charge
coordinate
of
the alone time. Jeez, that's easy.
because we're gonna have a very tight window. So if you could talk to the team, Doug, and just tell me what the plan is, I am on board.
I had the potato skins with the pork in them and gumbo. Very good. So I'm done for the day. We're eating.
Our team is all right here. Kim, JR, Lee, Bo, Doris.
I don't think Snell's in the top 5 in most regional wins. The last I saw, answering a question in the chat there, I have 29 and I was like 14th, and he I think has a couple less than that.
Matt McNeil just shot 236.
Does he ever shoot like 180?
He's still...
Yeah, on our featured pair that he's got a whole step-ladder final on,
Yeah, and he's still complaining about 13 and 14. I'm like, hey, did you just shoot... Was that your 230? He goes, yeah. Thank God it's not 13 and 14. So we got a little break in the action here, it looks like. We got the Miller High Life train on 15 and 16. He's living the high life. He just went high.
He needed that hit to
that's Quentin Bolin.
helping him in the 180s. Needed that hit to win his match.
You know, it was funny. Quentin, I crossed next to him on A Squad yesterday, and he was playing like straight up about 8 board. And I looked at him, and he was doing okay, but he was a little behind. And I just said, hey, how you doing, Quentin? I said, you're the only guy I see playing there. And he said, well, my game seems kind of messed up. I don't think I can play inside today. It just doesn't feel right or something like that. I'm just haven't been bowling good. Next thing I know, I look over, and he's swinging 5th arrow or playing fallback 5th arrow and shoots 250. Okay. I guess he decided that he had it in him after all, and that's what got him here.
Peasel needs a double to lock out his opponent.
The FJ.
Who's sitting right to my left?
There are no easy spares out here this weekend. Trust me.
Hey, Doug, you wanna get a little FJ information? See what's going on there real quick?
Let me see here.
Obviously, if we have a spare miss by Peasel, FJ's going to get up and throw his 10th frame. But if we got a conversion here, you might be able to get a minute with him.
I saw Jason Wojnar miss a 5-pin yesterday, too. I mean, there's so much...
I missed 5-pin.
There's so much OB that if you get it at the wrong spot going away, boy. I mean, just how many head pin misses do you... The head pin's the easiest pin to hit, so, you know, when you're throwing strike balls. And how many times do you see guys miss head pins out here?
I saw a single head pin missed yesterday.
Sure. That's right. And you know what? That was Aaron Ramsden, and that cost him cashing.
Yeah, he crossed with me. I didn't realize it cost him cashing.
He was ready to, you know, commit suicide last night. He was so mad at himself. He says, I didn't cash because I missed the head pin. And that was in a game he shot over 200.
Right.
What did you see down there, Doug, from FJ? I know you didn't get a chance to get an interview there, but what's he doing?
FJ is not too talkative right now, but I did hack into his iPhone here, and he's got his scores listed and his opponents.
Well, he's up on lane 14 right now. John Brocklin, he needs a double. He's got 177 posted at him. If he strikes out, it's 184. It's his first shot.
I know he had a rough start.
Great
Very
shot.
Nice. I crossed with him yesterday, and I'm telling you, he bowled so good to shoot 70 over. I was so impressed. I haven't seen John bowl a whole lot, and boy, I was so impressed.
He is a very skilled bowler. If you talk to Ray Orff and Rich Orff and those guys, they firmly believe if John would not have taken the path into priesthood, because he is a Catholic priest, he's a pastor, that he would have been able to be out on tour and at least be one of those guys that could have competed for titles or make shows. He was that accurate and that good back in the day, and he's retooled his game recently to learn how to bowl on patterns and lay out equipment. And you know what? He's going to be turning 50 here in just a couple of years.
His last
this
3
one.
games were 224,
Oh, we got it.
210,
Big
224.
You owe him a handshake, Jeff.
Yep. We didn't cat him. I'll give him a handshake on that. I mean, I guess it helps to have God on your side, right?
It can't hurt.
Doug, what do you got for us?
He's 81 over going into this game. He's going to strike here for 184, hopefully. So that's going to get him another 14 tens after his bonus. The poor guy's only won 2 games today, and he's 50, almost 60 over for his last 3.
So there's inside information on who we call FJ, John Brocklin.
He bowled a lot of those.
He does need 8 here. Oh, 10 back. He switched to his
He just-
modern marvel.
He just
loves
needed
it.
4.
I was going to say he needed 8.
He needed 4.
Doug, let's see if we can get something here with a little emotion out of John.
John, Doug Lakey, InsideBowling.com. That was a good, sir. That was a great finish. I was telling the guys how I
I
hacked.
apologize for the second one.
Why? What'd you do?
I just juiced it. It was a 5-7.
That's okay. You threw it great. I noticed you've got about 660 here for the last 3 going into this game.
Wow.
So keep it up. Keep up the good work, buddy.
Hey,
What are you
Doug.
throwing right now?
It's a modern marble.
Modern Marvel. Your favorite ball.
Hey, Doug, will you
The IQ tour was great for me yesterday, but I needed something that was a little bit sooner today. And so far, so good. Just trying to keep my head above water.
You're doing a great job of it. We
Doug-
love you.
Doug, will you tell John that if he ever apologizes for juicing it a little bit on a pattern like this, when he shoots 660, I'm going to slap him.
Hold on, he's placing his lunch order with Bob Hockren. John, message from the chat. If you ever apologize for juicing it again, Mike's going to open hand slap you in the face.
Okay, won't do that.
Babe.
There you have it. Great on-lane reporting again from our field reporter, Dougie Fresh.
We got to give a shout out to, you guys might have done this already, but to Bob Hockring for,
Yes.
he's running around. He's the manager of this bowling center, and he's been doing all the little things that you normally, a lot of managers might shuffle off to the employees. He was correcting scores yesterday and, just, getting drinks for people, and, now he's running around taking the lunch orders. And
I would like to throw in there while we're talking about FJ that he's the all events champion for Missouri State this year, and he will be competing in the Masters.
cool.
So he told me last night he's got a game plan to maybe drop 8-10 pounds before then, and he's fired up. He's going to be ready to go.
He bowled a lot of those Tuesday night little sweepers.
I think his
That,
all events
that we
score
ran.
for the Missouri State all events title was like 2250 or something.
There's a 5-pin miss again.
But
Of course, he's my doubles partner, and
What
his
did-
lowest set was in doubles.
What did he shoot in? What does it take to win your state?
I think it was like 22-20.
Yeah, that'd be low in our low scoring for our state tournament.
And it's all scratch for him. I mean, he didn't get any handicap.
Yeah, so he will be competing in the Masters.
And he assists our tournaments quite often. He's like part of our tournament team.
He's kind of our dad.
He's the HR department. He's the hugs monitor. If we ever have any problems that happen, he walks up and he hugs you. So he said that he wants to be on the 25th floor of our building one day. And if anybody's having a bad day or dealing with some circumstances that aren't so good in their life, or just having a bad block, that he's the hugs monitor. So
25th floor.
yeah, we dream big.
Casino on the first 12 floors.
That'd be great. That means we're really making some money.
Yeah. Oh boy.
With our luck, we would open the first casino that would lose money.
Yeah, no kidding. So Lee, who do we have? 13 through 16 there.
oh, we saw Brad Miller. He's bowling Matt Tomsu from Nebraska. 15 and 16 would be Peasel. And should be Dan Lemish.
Yep.
He's got his posse behind him, he's got the birthday boy, Danny Spink. I think Brett knows I'm talking about him.
Yeah, it's Brett's birthday, and he and Danny Spink are here still watching, rooting on their guys.
I think I've lost my ink pen 18 times today. Mike's stolen it 17 times.
And over here, 7 through 10, we got a pretty good matchup. Brad Snell and Matt McNeil.
And McNeil's had a rough start here. He goes washout, strike, high 7-10. Not sure what he left in the fourth frame, but Snell has started with a 5-pack of spares.
And then we've got a before and after puzzle on Wheel of Fortune on 7 and 8. We have Greg, Thomas, York. Greg Thomas and Thomas York, of course, is what I'm talking about. The before and after puzzle.
Well, he missed the 5-pin last frame, so a little test here. Think about that. This tournament, that's at least 3 that I know of, missed 5 pins.
McNeil's re-racking. That's interesting. Yeah, you're right, Jeff.
This is the second time on this pair we've seen somebody leave 2
Yep.
in the same game, and Brad's just starting out.
I think there was a point made earlier in the chat that the ones that were missed that we saw were people throwing a hook ball at it, and boy, you think, it's a 5-pin or an 8-pin or something. You should be able to throw your strike ball, but maybe you need to go with a wow.
Oh.
You almost did it again. But there's so much OB to the right. If you're throwing a hook and you miss a little bit right, you're good to say goodbye. You're missing it. Maybe I used my soccer spare ball at just about everything yesterday. That's in some that I don't normally. I used it at the 3-pin and that sort of stuff. So maybe 5-pin. Go with the spare ball straight.
The little Chad Wrecker just lofted one like over the whole left cap to start his ball at about the 37th board.
So where's he going to be playing in 8 more games? Oh boy.
And he missed the head pin to the right. Then he threw one up like 4 and hooked from that spot to pick the spare. So one extreme to the other for Klaus right now.
Didn't you tell us earlier, Doug, that he was playing this end deep and that end straight, and now he's playing that end deeper?
Hold on, I'm gonna get you a look and see if he does this 2 times in a row.
All right.
No, he went outside and struck.
Interesting.
I'll be back.
He's a pretty multifaceted player. I nicknamed him and the other Chad the Chad Wreckers a long time ago, and they've both learned how to play that straighter shot and definitely made their games versatile, and that's how you win.
Hold on a second, guys. This just in. We've got some of our biggest supporters. We've got this year's IB champion. We've got Emily here in her first adult tournament, and we're going to come and talk to him here with one of my favorite people, Dan Lemish. How you guys doing?
Oh, we're doing good.
That's the voice of Brett Cunningham, Motive staffer.
Hi.
Was this your first tournament?
Yes, it was.
First tournament ever.
You bowled excellent yesterday, and we had Dolph in the chat rooting for you. And also we have, like I said, our IB Open champion here, Danny Spink.
How's it going?
Danny's got a full array of bow and arrows and his Glock that he's been firing at some of the competitors that are bowling against his buddy Brad Miller. And every time he's pulled out one of these weapons, the opponent's 10-backed high flush strike. So I've asked Danny to start shooting me every time I bowl because it's not working.
He's got those silver bullets too, Doug. Talked about yesterday.
So what are you guys doing right now? Brett Cunningham's playing with a house ball.
That's
correct. I'm fingering a house ball. But I'm actually watching my horse become a donkey today. It's quite fun.
Brett,
What's his consent? He's going to come back here.
tell Brett he should be used to that by now.
And he 8-10s for us as they laugh hysterically.
Yeah, but do you notice they're laughing from the spectator seats and Brad's out there on the lanes?
Right. Hey, Doug.
Yo.
Ask Brett if his horse became a donkey or just a plow horse. That's Brett's favorite line.
This
We're gonna
just
name
in,
our-
we got
It's a good line.
A question here.
We're supposed to
Can
go
the
league
guys
together this
update
summer.
their
We're going to name our
services
team
after
that.
the
Plow
break?
horses.
Or during the break, Mike?
It is a stop in the action. They can adjust surfaces, yes.
Yeah, PBA we always could, so no reason we can't here.
We got the little Lindenwood University section over here. Dan Lemish on 15, Brad Miller on 13 and 14. Doug Lakey could also be an LU. As Dan go for the 310. All right, see you guys. Thanks.
You need the mid-90s NFL guy carrying your mic cord around
Yeah, you're exactly right about that.
with the orange vest and the...
That's how you get the A10 out. Brook it.
I mentioned Matt McNeil was struggling. He's since thrown 4 in a row when we were talking with Brett. And
I was watching him. Boom,
I
boom,
saw
boom, boom, boom.
Yep. Snell actually does have 224 left. He struck in the 6th, 7th, and 9th to go along with a whole bunch of spares.
Boy, this is really stretching out for difference between second and third place. 183 pins now. But look at how close it is from there on down. 111, 110, 95, 95, 95, 57, 40. I mean, there are a lot of people going to be still in the running for that final position.
Yeah, and keep in mind here that these players are bidding for the top 3 spots, where we will have 2-game total pinfall stepladder for you at about 2:30, 3 o'clock today, probably a little later than that now, maybe 3:30. And you do not want to miss that here at the 11thframe.com Open, brought to you by Coors Light here at the beautiful Diamond Joe Casino at the Cherry Lanes facility inside. I'm Mike Flanagan alongside Jeff Riggles, USBC Hall of Famer, competed in the event, got a little cash spot out of it, and Lee Bedoris.
And I stole some money in the McNeil bracket, too. The McNeil War bracket.
Yeah, I got to figure out how to masterify that one and make it go a little bit quicker and figure out how all that's going to work. But I kind of enjoyed how it went. It wasn't too bad.
What we wanted to know, a couple people asked me, and I did not have the answer for this. What do you do if you get more than whatever number of entries there are that would make it work for the number of games bowl?
I was going to pull a random game number out of the hat for each round after that.
You got all. You always have an answer. You always have an answer.
Yep, that's what I was going to do.
Okay. Because someone asked me, I said, I don't know.
Yeah, I was just going to put 1 through 6 in a hat, pull that out. Since
Okay.
we're pulling out of the hat so much in that game anyway.
That was fun to listen to, and because you kind of, oh come on, and that was the best idea you had there was the high losing game goes back in.
Yeah.
It's McNeil. Ooh.
That's all right. He can shake that off.
Well,
It's going to cost him his lead. Yeah, okay.
it's important to pick it, though, because he's going to make... If he can get the 205, he's going to make Snell get that first hit.
It's so neat to see a 236 game down on 27 and 28 and like run back here to report on it because it's such a feat. But Shannon Buchan on 27 and 28 with 236 in game 8, he's ready for lunch.
Thank you, Doug. Hopefully Doug is still efforting for our team meal and what we're going to do about that.
Now that's a double. Brook.
I'd be proud of it.
I'm sure it's not the first one this week. Hey, nice shot, Brad.
That'll get him the win against Matt McNeil. Matt's 6-2 in match play. Quentin Bolin lost the first 2. He's won 5 straight. Dan Lemish is still just the one tie. But he's bowling very well this game. Triple, spare, spares. Got a 9-pin and a big lead. Trying to get that first win.
Oh, Brad Snell.
It's enough.
He got the win, though.
All I needed was one hit.
I was just rooting for him.
Oh, that's fine.
I'd like to see Brad really make a run here, you know. Because Brad's a guy out on the senior tour that if he does really well in this event, he's going to go up and talk it up to all those guys and create a bunch of warm, fuzzy situation about our
There you
group
go.
and this tournament. And it'll spread like wildfire and help from a promotional purpose. Not to mention, he's just a hell of a nice guy.
Maybe you guys can help us out in the chat that are familiar with the area. Should Team IB eat in the deli downstairs, or should I go place us an order in the sports bar right now?
Both are good.
Both are good.
I would leave this one up to Kim today.
What's that?
I would leave lunch up to Kim today.
Oh, it's on her now?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you told it was on me.
Doug, you got replaced. You didn't do a good enough job.
Well, if you got it down to the deli and the sports bar, I would then walk into her and say which one.
I did. I said, I think she's on to the sports bar, too.
She likes the sports bar?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. So we're wrapping up game number 8. There's going to be a break in the action after this. Derek Olf just bowled left-handed at a 2-4-8-10 down on lane 21.
Phil ball.
Not supposed to do that, right?
And PBA
Switch
events
hands.
you can.
I thought USBC changed the rules so that in scratch competition you can do it now.
Okay.
Well, he worked at headquarters. I'm not going to say anything
Yeah,
about
he
it.
was in the rules department. I'm pretty sure that's not.
enough.
I'm 99% certain they changed that rule
If
for
I really want to test
for
my
scratch
waters,
competition.
as an on-lane reporter,
Derek, we saw you switch hands.
would you like to quote the rule that you probably helped write to tell us that that's a legal shot now?
Guy
I might throw some
didn't know
shadow
that.
balls on 11 and 12 during the break and see if I can't get a read on this pattern.
You know, since I ate already, maybe I'll go down and support the host here. Make another run at the table after last night.
You're going to go away for your free soda?
Yeah. Yeah, the sodas were more than free last night.
Can you change surfaces between spots?
Yeah.
There's Danny
Quote
Spank.
unquote. Mike, can we change services in between squads? Yep. Sick.
You can
End quote.
Damn,
you can
Lemish.
change them in between games in the step, in between matches in the step ladder.
Yep.
I love it.
I guess that one's involved me having to get to a step ladder before I could. It's been a while. Can't even remember.
If this match wasn't a little closer here between Miller and York, or I don't know who he's bowling, but
Yeah, TJ York.
I would love to be down at the ball return in between shots.
It's Brad Miller. He's not done yet. He's not happy, but he's. What do you say?
Something about it's better than the right.
Probably about the left lane. Lemish kind of tried something. He's got this match wrapped up, tried to go way out, and got 5. It's actually not locked up, though. Now with the 5 count.
No. You a Virgo? No.
What has John got down there? My eyes are too old to see quite that
All right.
far.
Hold on, Jeff. I'll find it.
Looks like he's on the left lane or the right lane. Can't. These things are.
Yeah, we had this discussion yesterday about the TV screens
Yeah,
being between the. They should be between the pairs, not between the lanes on the pairs.
Yeah, it does. I can't. Doug, how's Brian doing this game? About FJ.
You can thank that 1-2-4-10 on Danny Spink. He pulled out his longbow out of his satchel of weapons, and he longbowed him from the set T area. So sorry about that, Mr. York. You can talk to Spink about your shot in the 10th. That's dangerous. He's dangerous with those weapons.
Got a crap game going in the chat here.
Well, this is not the PBA, so these guys at lunch can have a Coors Light or two to ease the pain. And that might not be a bad idea considering how brutal it is out there. Lots of pain. Oh, nice shot. Actual plus fluff.
Playing him. FJ here is going to have 190 and a win versus Wojnar's 150 or 160.
That's big because he's trying to catch Wojnar.
So.
Yeah.
Brad needs this one. Hold it.
And as action begins to wrap up here, we're watching our last two matches. We want to let everybody know that when we do break, we'll be back in about 30 minutes. Players are going to go on a lunch break. They're going to grab some food. They're going to come back. They're going to receive 5 minutes of practice on their starting pair, and we'll take you home for the rest of the day. 8 more games of round-robin match play with the position round, game number 16. And then we will also then bring you the 3-person stepladder 2-game total pinfall matches here from the 11thframe.com Open, brought to you by Coors Light at the Diamond Joe inside Cherry Lanes. Mike Flanagan alongside Lee Bedoris and Jeff Riggles, USBC Hall of Famer, and Doug Lakey, who's doing such a great job out there field reporting for us. We're watching just the last match here wrapping up right in front of us. Featured pairs 15 and 16. 13 and 14 will be our TV final pair today. We'll have a couple of different angles for those camera shots. Bring you the best show we can.
And Dan Lemish on the board with a win. Good boy, Dan.
Very nice shot. Pee-wee's in there. Okay, now I have to go to the
70s.
casino. Oh, boys. Chat room's fun today.
Chat room's always fun. I'll tell you, I feel like our broadcast today has actually been probably one of our best. We've got a lot of features today for everybody, and we continue to try to improve that all the time.
Yeah, you guys are right there with Extra Frame for sure. Wow. He's playing out there to the right awful far. I'm impressed.
He started this game in. And he tried going out and didn't work his first try with the washout, but strike here for 208 plus 30. That'll do it.
Okay, so that concludes our 8 games of round-robin match play. We'll be back. It's 12:54, so we'll give the players until 1:15 to get back. We'll fire up.
This just in. Dan just got his first win. He's 1-7.
Practice
Dan,
balls.
do you care to comment real fast? 1-6-1. Oh, he did have a tie. He's got to get some lunch, so he doesn't want to talk now. So we'll get him after the break.
Okay, guys, we will be back at 12:15. Actually, no, I'm sorry. 1:25 it is. We will be back at 1:25.
I'm not as far as I know.
How you doing?
Okay.
Okay, we'd like to welcome everybody into the 11frame.com Open. These are the last 8 games of match play. And we've got 7 games on a rotating schedule here. Then we'll stop for a position round. Mike Flanagan alongside Doug Lakey and Jeff Riggles from the 11frame.com. Lunch is over, and now we have Mr. Matt McNeil and Brad Snell on our feature pairs here on 15 and 16 and 13 and 14.
Yeah, both of these guys are striking, too. I saw him practice. Dan coming off his first official win. He's 1-7-1.
He can't be 1-7-1. That would be 9 games. They've only bowled 8.
Or
1-6-1. Right?
1-6-1. Yeah.
There you go.
Let's get you up to speed on our standings here. Matt McNeil set